Coffee.
Too much fat here, too many ribs there. I've always felt like a clay sculpture knocked off a desk. Last night, I had the most vivid nightmare. So I began softly singing to the ant. She was in so much pain. I sang until she stopped moving, and I cried.
Chainsaws. Oh no, did you accidentally run over Hogan with the lawnmower?
Fends the body from any incoming force while inducing a state of paralysis to keep the user calm. Nail. The user must say lock life 3 consecutive times with minimal. If the threat appears to be long term, your body can remain paralyzed for up to 7 years, after which lock life personnel will be sent to your location, fetus.
In conclusion, the lock life nail is an organism. It can create children of its own.
The yellow man begins in an egg. The pursuit of food can lead to weight gain in excess of 150 pounds. The individual refrains from wearing clothes. Many have reported a sense of optimism and a persistent smile lasting throughout the day and even during sleep. The ensuing decay releases a dopamine spray. No one can explain my behavior. Not even I. My feelings. And now, I wish to catch one, yet they fly at such remarkable speed. They transport you to the fairy world. A sunlit window at 5. Wooden chess pieces from a friendly spar. Crowds of porcelain gathered throughout the week. The constant nostalgia has given me a 1,000-yard stare. A Paleolithic bone collection.
A sword slipped from my hands and clipped 3 of my sister's fingers off. We all had a good laugh. Every now and then, a raccoon would get too close to Grandpa, and he would slice them, and I never move in my sleep. So I wouldn't notice until I woke up that such a sharp sword was next to me. But my sister liked to roll in her sleep, so she never woke up the next. Well, this afternoon at the market, I grabbed the nearest sword and chopped Grandpa in half.
Are you bored of self-isolation? Do you want to meet your friends again? Are you worried about the future of the world? Please stay still and remain calm. Oh hey, a videotape.
One morning, I reached for my spoon and it suddenly bit me. Feed me. The spoon is starving. The spoon's expression calmed into a smug grimace. I was furious. Drive me. The spoon is starving. At the cash register, the cashier mistook the spoon around my hand as jewelry and asked where I bought it. I stood in the backyard and waited. My house was eventually on fire.
It was a buffalo with lots of legs, like some giant cockroach.
there's a new planet in the sky.
When the corner folk jump, it feels as though they're taunting me.
Now let's learn about the sides and corners of different
Do it again. Okay, I don't believe you. I don't believe you for a second. Huh? What? What is it?
No. You know what it is.
Why? What is it?
Do you want to come through here?
Why? Is there someone outside?
No,
Island era orribile. L'intero posto puzzava di carne, come un mattatoio.
Once the evening news program ended, a black screen with a 10-second countdown commenced with the title Dean Democracy. Some viewers, so terrified of the threat of nuclear war, reportedly experienced nervous breakdowns and ran down the street, declaring that Dean Democracy was the code name for an all-out nuclear holocaust. Due to popular demand, the ABC Evening News was canceled the next night, replaced by a 30-minute loop of James Dean's presidential announcement. Although a presidential debate was eventually scheduled 2 weeks before the election, James Dean instead invited opponent Richard Nixon to a track to race cars. Nixon congratulated Dean in a phone call the following morning, but Dean refused to acknowledge the win and instead asked to race cars again. President Dean would conclude the inauguration with a brief bongo performance and went on to race Richard Nixon at the track. President Dean's popularity grew after the technical difficulty, and film director Stanley Kubrick went on to call the broadcast the greatest silent film ever made.
Every few nights, straws would be put through the holes and someone would feed me some weird soup.
After their alibi is fabricated, the person is abducted from their home and they stay in Lincoln Looker for as long as the president sits in office.
I went back to the garden and asked what kind of animals usually got stuck in there, and she said, wild animals. There was no wild animal.
Tim exclaimed in shock when he reportedly saw the individual's eyelid twitch. They proceeded to carry it back to Grassman's apartment. They laid the body in a full bathtub, gradually raising the water's temperature throughout the night to prevent shock. Grassman claims to have learned this technique from a pulp magazine he had read as a child. During Saturday's morning press conference, President Dean shared his thoughts on the discovery in 2 words. I'm surprised.
It was an uncanny sight to see a green fur.
How about this one, Mr. Rockefeller? No, it's much too average. The next day, Mr. Rockefeller and his men laid 100 sticks of dynamite around the tree. 3, 2, 1, Then I realized that 10 friends standing on each other's shoulders could put me at the very top of the Christmas tree. Ow! Helen had stepped on Charles' fingers. Ow! Charles had stepped on Elizabeth's fingers. Ow! Elizabeth had stepped on Alice's fingers. After many groans and tumbles, my friends formed a sturdy ladder. Soon, the very top of it touched the ground, forming a perfect arc. It was like a very strange rainbow. I remember when my eyes adjusted, I was in a field of special trees, and I saw my ma then asked, "Why are there dots all over your face?" I answered, "Those are my freckles. I've had them since I was little." I didn't fall asleep that night. I kept my ear close to the wall to hear what the nurses were saying next door. I heard one sentence over and over. Everything's backward.
Dato che le corde sono rotte, sono uscite in fretta dalla scatola ed ho trovato del pane e della frutta nel stanza accanto.
In the middle of the location stood a plaster model of a tall Greco-Roman statue of a woman. Surrounding this sculpture were the splayed remains of an individual, flattened like a set of clothes.
They tell me I have to take it out of her. So hook, rope, peel, and pull. When it was done, freedom stood motionless.
Delegation pays him this ovation and rises to its feet.
The hazardous waste collection team and soldiers attempted to plug the gushing lesions. However, survivors report that their efforts were mostly futile due to the team's inability to stay standing on the slippery ground. The Anti-Device Association attributed the severity of the disaster to the development of intelligent devices, specifically Twitter machines. They reasoned At 12:03 p.m., violence erupted when an American shot a police officer in the face. At 10 p.m., the front entrance gates of the Cairo exclusion zone collapsed from the force of the charging crowd. Several citizens had arrived earlier than anticipated since they had utilized car hubcaps to slide quickly across the ground. At 1 p.m., several fights broke out over a Ford pickup truck that had rolled out from a container and crushed a family. 3 aggressors were shot by a man who had found a rifle. The conflict fueled the accidental firing of an automatic weapon by one child prompted the intervention of their parents and other adults. The resulting verbal argument escalated quickly and broke out into a full-scale gunfight with over 14 armed subjects, including the children. Another fight erupted after the discovery of a deluxe barbecue grill, which 13 Americans had simultaneously called dibs on when the item was pulled out of a shipping container. All 13 Americans died from gun-related wounds. At around 1:30 p.m., one of the posterior legs of the Suez Canal crab twitched and incited panic in a nearby crowd. As Americans attempted to flee, many fell on the slippery ground and were trampled by those rushing behind them. By 1:33 p.m., the screams of the panicked crowd had reached a deafening volume, reportedly being heard over 5 miles away. The gates stood for over 6 hours as Americans ran from the epicenter. Many soldiers became ill at the sight of injuries caused by the thousands of bodies being crushed into the metal bars. By 7:15 p.m., everyone within a half mile of the gate had perished from extreme pressure. Heat exhaustion, accidental falls, and gun violence were also major causes of death.
At the Walt Disney Medical Center.
I can't hear a damn thing.
In preparation, many health organizations, both domestic and international, had prepared to host banquets for Dean and grant awards to him and his staff. However, President Dean spent the entirety of Independence Day racing cars.
collecting fragments, Petrie slipped and landed on an upright plane of Giza glass.
In corso di una sera tornò a casa senza una mano.
Due to grown reluctance to reinstall the Statue of Freedom, the Department of the Interior has instead transferred Freedom to an undisclosed location in the Grand Canyon. The rocks won't shoot her down.
Don't worry. Don't worry, Mom.
I looked down and I thought I was on solid ground, but when I looked more closely, I was sitting on a thin, floating layer of dust. It smelled like baby powder. One man came up to me and whispered, "The trees are not the trees. They do not matter to you." I went on the elevator. It went up. All the way up. It stopped at the top, and the music blared.
sand. Large figures have appeared across the southeast.
Notice your captors. Proceed to our job.